Hey, 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 good evening, everyone. Welcome to Create a Flow Live. My name is Elisha Jacobs, and I'm super excited that you are here. If you are new, welcome, welcome, welcome. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to your fellow creatives and digital entrepreneurs. If you are looking this on the replay, thank you so much for coming back and viewing the replay. I appreciate you and all the things. Happy New Week. Happy Monday. It's the start of a new week and all the things. And we are going to get straight into our life tonight. By the title, you see, we're going to be taking control of our week using Google Calendar time blocking. And the reason why I really wanted to share on this tonight because you hear everyone saying in the productivity space, you need to time block, you need to do this, you need to do that in order to be productive. But there is a right way and a wrong way when it comes to time blocking. So I'm going to share that. I'm also going to be using a tool that is widely used by a lot of creatives and digital entrepreneurs. Everybody has a Google Workspace account as they have an online business or they are creating content, more than likely they do have a Google Workspace account, and it's only applicable that I demonstrate tonight's lesson inside of Google Calendar. I'm, as you know already, or if you've been following me for a minute, you know that I'm an Apple girl, so Apple Calendar is my baby when it comes to calendars. But at least majority or 90% of creatives, 90% of digital entrepreneurs have a Google account. So it is necessary for you to leverage the tools that you already have access to, whether it's free or if you're paying for Google Workspace because of your business. You have to leverage the tools that you're getting. And a lot of us as digital creatives and entrepreneurs do not leverage the entire Google suite, and that's a whole conversation for a whole lot of time. But we only focus on the mail and maybe Google Meet and maybe two other things. But Google Workspace have quite a lot that you can start out with as a digital creative and entrepreneur. So let me ask you this question and you can answer in the chat. I know there's going to be a bit of like a 5-10 second delay as to when your comments would actually come in. But if you're like me, at any point of your creative journey or your business journey, you ever looked at the time and realized it's 3 or 5 p.m. and only had to ask yourself, how did the day end and what did you actually get done? If that has ever happened to you, let me know in the chat because listen, it happens to me and I am the most productive person that I know. But yet still some days it happens to me, especially when You have live business content on all the things happening. You can find that you are very much overwhelmed with a whole lot of stuff. So if you're that person that ever looked at the clock and want to know where did the good day go and you didn't get anything accomplished, okay, I'm seeing some people raising their hands in the chat. So listen, I know how that feels. I have been there. But can I share a little something with you? I'm looking at two different screens, but can I share something with you? Most people, you'll be shocked to know, most people don't manage their time, they react to it. Most people do not manage their time, they react to it. We all know we have 24 hours in the day, but yet still, we react to that 24 hours. We do not utilize or steward that 24 hours appropriately. And so you find that you have so much to do, but yet still you can have the time blocks, you can have the calendar, you can have the reminders, you can have all the productivity tools and all the things, but yet still you're not actually getting stuff done. All right. And so you are more reacting to time versus managing the time. So tonight, I want to shift your perspective a little when it comes to time blocking, time management, productivity, and all the things. And I want you to first um, take this stewardship principle is that you need to be intentional with the time that you are blessed with each day. Whether it's time for you to just be quiet, sit still, compose yourself, command your day or commit your day into the Lord's hands. Just take time to just stand still. Um, Another stewardship principle of being intentional is with your time is that you are doing everything that you need to get done and not overwhelming yourself and not feeling guilty that you didn't get a certain specific task done. We are not subscribing to the hustle. We're not subscribing to burnout and overwhelm. And so tonight I'm going to be sharing a lot of time management principles, not only of how you can time block inside of Google Calendar, but also really understanding what time blocking is. All right, what time blocking is. And so, the very simple definition I can give you when it comes to time blocking is where you're taking chunks of time and you are literally focusing on completing one thing at a time. That's basically what time blocking is. And so, like how you would budget money for the month or budget money for the week, it's the same thing. You're actually budgeting time, your time, to get specific tasks done during the day or for the week or for the entire month. Now, when you are going to be using time blocking, this is where you're going to be eliminating decision fatigue. A lot of us as creatives, we struggle with making decisions because we are stressed out and we are fatigued because we have so much tasks to get done. Let me know if this happens to you. You sit down a day and say, well, okay, these are the list of things that I need to get done today. I have this, that, and the third to do. You start doing the first thing, and then 5 minutes into that first thing, you switch to something else. And then another 5 or 10 minutes into doing that thing, you switch to something else. And so you're task switching and you're not allowing yourself to stay focused. Once you start switching from task to task to task, it causes overwhelm and quite frankly, you're not getting anything done. Let's be real, all right? You're not getting anything done. So, to remove decision fatigue and also stop with the task switching, I want you to look at time blocking as something that is very intentional and very strategic. And it's an exercise that will help you when it comes to your productivity journey and more or less getting your life together. All right. Now, the reason why I chose Google Calendar for tonight's session is because of Two things. One, like I said earlier, everybody has access to a Gmail account or a Google Workspace account. Whether you're a regular user, whether you're a content creator, whether you're a business owner, you at least some of us at least have one or many Google Workspace accounts. And so it is free, it's accessible, and it also integrates with everything, giving you the option. If you notice, most of the AI platforms that I've reviewed in the past couple weeks, most of the different productivity tools, the number one calendar and service that they always put at the top of that list is Google Calendar or the G Suite, what they call G Suite, Google Workspace, or your Gmail account. And so I want us to look at time blocking as a visual aspect of bringing clarity to your day, to your week, or to your month. And also, it's going to help us to start creating routines in our daily lives. And so you're able to get more done and have more focus. Now, if it comes to a point where the traditional time blocking that I'm going to show tonight may not work, there are other tools that are available. I covered them in the previous weeks, like Blitzit or Structure. Those are more advanced productivity apps that can really get you into being more focused. But as a starting block or as a foundation, we need to have like a foundation, because one of the things I do recognize, we can have all the productivity tools and yet still we operate in chaos. We can have all the subscriptions and yet still we don't get a lot of things done. So tonight I really want to like take a step back and lay the foundation of where you can start and you can build on that. They have a saying, I don't know it verbatim, but they have a saying where you it's hard to kill a bad habit. How many days it takes to uh, break a bad habit, but how many days it actually takes to form a new habit. So, as creatives, as business owners, it's good to start forming healthy flow routines because you're on the Creative Flow Live. So, you're going to hear me say flow a lot. So, flow is actually a part of the framework that I teach. So, you need to start creating a flow in your business, in your daily life, so you're not burnt out and stressed and overwhelmed. And so, I'm going to switch over to my screen share and bring you into the Google Calendar. Most persons see their Google Calendar like this. Let me move half of the other things out of the way that I have. But most people see Google Calendar like this. And so when you get in here, the first thing people are asking, okay, where do I start when it comes to doing time blocking? And the first thing I would tell you to do is create individual calendars for either your teamed days or your different types of time blocks that you're going to use. As an example, I have time blocking for when I'm doing content planning, when I'm doing business activities, when I am doing recording, when I'm editing, when I'm doing deep focus work where I need to do research. I create individual calendars on my calendar inside of Apple. And you can do the same inside of Google as well. So for tonight's exercise, I'm going to show you how you can create your calendars inside of Google once you have access to your calendar. And for most people, if you don't know, you just simply click at the top here and you will get access into your calendar. And usually, this is usually the default spread that you would see. If you're that type of person where you might see all of your tasks or everything that you have to do spread out for the entire month, you can change the view. So if you look to the top right here where you have month, you can click the down arrow here and you can state if you want to see just 4 days, if you want to see your schedule, if you want to see year, month, week, or day. For time blocking, for me, I like to switch to the week view because it's a little more focused, and so I'm not overwhelmed by seeing out all the things that is due within that month or that specific uh week, I don't want to see the entire spread. So I like to go week by week. And so I'm staying focused on the current week. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to create a few time blocks and show you how you can actually set this up. If you're following along with me, that is okay. If you're viewing this on the replay, of course, you can pause and you can set up with me. All right. So on the left hand side, by default, Google usually gives you some default calendars. The name of the calendar I already have here with my company name, have birthdays, and you have tasks because I do integrate it with the Google Tasks. And so, if you notice on the bottom left here, it gives you the option to have other calendars. Now, when I click that plus sign, it allows me to subscribe to a calendar, create a new calendar. I can browse calendars of interest. I can bring a calendar in from a URL, or I can import a calendar. So let's say, for example, if I have a URL to a specific calendar, maybe in Notion or another calendar service, I can either import it or bring it in from a URL or so forth. Now, for the case of our exercise tonight, I want to start setting up calendars. So when I look at my week, I know exactly what I need to get done, and it's easy for me to identify what is being done on specific days at specific times. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to click on create new calendar. And the first calendar name I'm going to give, I'm going to call this morning focus. Now, the purpose of me having this morning focus is for my important work. Now, for me, I know what that important work is. Is it to check emails? All right. Is it for me to plan my day? Is it for me to go over the tasks that I need to get done today? What are those important things that I need to be locked into, that I need to focus on maybe for an hour, 2 hours? What is it? And I need to have that calendar set. All right. So once I put in a name and maybe the description just for a reminder, I am going to hit on create calendar, and the calendar portion is going to be in there. It's telling me that it was successfully created, and then it just refreshed back to a new one. And then I'm going to do another one called admin. um I'll call this admin block. All right, so with the admin block, this deals with emails, calls, and light tasks. So any light administrative tasks, I'm going to do it anytime I have that admin block. And I'm going to explain further how this actually flows into your daily activities. I'm going to hit on create again. I'm going to do a creative block because I am a content creator. So I'm going to do a creative block section. And this is where I'm either content creating and maybe brainstorming. And I have to make sure that I have time to do this. Now, this might be a little controversial to some people, but it is important to schedule rest. I have said it. I am not that type of person who subscribes to working 24/7. It could not be me. If you want to see me at my worst or be grumpy or not get anything done at all, let me not get my 8 hours sleep. All right. So, one of the non negotiables that I have set up inside of my business is that I need to have a day or days to actually rest, where I am not doing any work, I'm not creating content, I'm not doing anything. I am just taking time to enjoy everyday life. And what everyday life may look like, whether it's cooking, whether it's going out, whether it's just laying in bed, binge watching something, once I can turn off everything, that's a non negotiable for me. And it's a form of self care. All right. So I am literally going to call this Sabbath block. All right. So I'm actually putting on it, and this is a non negotiable. I'm really not going to be negotiating um this. I know there are periods in business and seasons in business where you will have to work, but that is okay. That is all right. There are times when these things do happen, but it cannot be every day. It cannot. Yeah, it you cannot work every day. And also, I like to also having a personal block, right? Now, this personal block can either be for family, it can be for prayer, it can be for exercise, and it can just simply be for us, right? I'm gonna put in one more, and I'm gonna call this deep work block. Right? So the deep work block is basically my focus time. And that focus time is where there's no distraction. I silence everything, whether I want to read up on something where I have to do deep research or in a state of learning, because as creatives, we're constantly learning, we constantly elevating our skills. And so you need to block off time to learn. Always block off time to learn. All right. So I have created those those calendars. And if you notice on the left, they're added there. Notice by default, Google adds colors. You can adjust these settings for your various calendars. So if we go into the left and let's say we go into admin block, you can depending on, let's say you have a calendar for clients, you can set up a calendar for clients and you can specify how you can make that link shareable, and you can also share it with other people within your team. You can also add notifications, you can add all day events, and if there's any changes and so forth. So every calendar have settings that you can actually work with, and you can also customize it, and you can also either unsubscribe or delete a calendar if you don't need it anymore. All right. So by default, you can also either hide it from the list if you don't want to use that particular block anymore, or you can show it back up again. So once we have set up all of our blocks, for some people it might be three, for others you might need more calendars. If you're especially if you're managing both business and life, you can add your calendars. But this is basically how you would actually go about managing them. All right. So once I have the calendars listed or created, they're listed on the left here. Now, the other important thing I want you to know, and I want you guys to really pay attention with, is that with regards to having time blocks and these blocks of calendars that I've created, you want to ensure that you have strategies to go with it. It's not just about creating the calendars and having the pretty colors and putting them and making them look aesthetically pleasing on your calendar, and you think that you're going to actually get stuff done. Execution is important. But more importantly, I have time management strategies that has worked for me and that allows me to stay consistent. And I've not only been teaching it inside of the Creative Flow Kit, but also I am teaching my clients with regards of how they can actually manage their time most effectively. So if you're live or you're on the replay, this would be the perfect time for you to either take keynotes to the strategies I'm about to share, and you're getting blessing tonight, more or less. So, the first thing for me in the last 5 years, what has really helped me when it comes to staying consistent, whether in business, in content, and all the things, is having routines, or I call them flow routines, or just everyday routines. Now, how you start your day is going to, and to be honest, it basically determines how your day goes at the end. So some people may agree, some people may not agree, but for me, that's how it works, right? But this comes from observation over the years. How my day starts really determines how the the remainder of the day flows. All right. So if I did not start my day with my routines, I'm going to either feel lazy and I'm not going to be most productive. And there are days when you're going to wake up and you're not going to feel productive. But on the days that you are not feeling productive or you're just feeling tired and you need to listen to your body, what do you do on those days? And so you can move things around. And this is where flexibility, and you can be so rigid with your time blocking. So be flexible in that, okay, I'm not the most energetic today. I don't feel to work at my desk. I may just want to work at my in my bed with my laptop. That is okay. But still have a little structure to working from the bed. All right. So, what I have done is have teamed days. So basically, what a team day is like on Monday, I consider that my CEO or my admin days. I don't do content, I do not do client work, I don't do anything on Mondays. All I'm focused on is business activities, things that I know that I'm not going to cover between Tuesday to Friday. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do that during those times. I'm going to do it on Monday. So whether that's being strategic with business plans, whether it's handling business admin stuff, whether it's really looking into analytics and doing reviews and doing strategic planning, reaching out, um, cleaning up the inbox, backing up data, and all the things that I know that I wouldn't do Tuesday to Friday, I'm doing those admin stuff on Monday. All right. So Monday is focused purely on the back end of my business. If I have to adjust the workflow, if I need to put stuff in place, if I need to plan my week, everything is going to get done on Monday. So the first strategy is have team days. So what has worked for me, Monday sets the tone for the entire week most times. So Monday's my admin days. I know what I'm doing on Tuesday. I know what I'm doing on Wednesday. When I had clients, Thursdays were strictly for client follow-up sessions, and it was a specific time that clients could have booked me so I can walk them through where I am with their project and so forth. Tuesdays were my client work days. So everything relating to my client projects, I would block off time. Well, okay, I'm working on this client between this time, working on another client within another time frame. Wednesdays was more related to content. Fridays, I tend to have a day where I don't want to do too much work. There was a point in my business where Fridays I was not doing any work. So I used to work from Monday to Thursday. Now, again, seasons in life and seasons in business and life be life in sometimes and you do have to work on Fridays. So I try to do as minimal amount of work on Fridays, but I try to have team days and that's in some way keeps me steady with my schedule. All right. So the first strategy for time management that I would share is having team days. So for example, let's say Monday I know is my admin day. I can simply say, well, okay, I start to work and this is, let me go to the following week so I don't get confused. So I know I like to work between 8 and 5 p.m. All right. So oops, let me cancel that. So on Monday between 8 to 5 p.m. if I drag, so I'm clicking on my mouse, hold down and drag straight down. All right. And I'm going to call this my admin or CEO day. Right? So this is the first strategy. Now, this is something that I do every single Monday. All right. So I can set it as a recurring task. So every Monday between 8 to 5 p.m., that entire day is focused on me getting stuff done. But notice the color code. By default, it brings in the default color code, and I don't want that. So I'm going to click where it's showing the name of the default calendar. I'm going to click there. And then I'm going to switch out the calendar to admin block. All right. So notice the color change. I want it to show that I am busy. And the visibility, it can either be public or private, but I'm going to leave it at default. You can also add a notification where you want to be notified either the day before, an hour before, or 30 minutes before, just to stay. If you're now starting out with time blocking and you know that you might not remember what you have blocked off, get in the habit of setting the notifications. It's going to help you. And up to now, I still use that. All right. And so you can hit on more options. All right. And you can state if this it repeats. And this is where the automation inside of Google Calendar comes in. If you know me, I love automation. So I can say this happens weekly on Monday. All right. So every week on Monday between 8 to 5, I'm doing admin or CEO. All right. And I can hit on save. And there is my first time block. And this is my teamed day. Now, in this day, I may have several different tasks that I get done. I'm running reports, I'm doing budgeting for the week, I'm checking in with my accounts, I'm checking analytics, I'm planning the week. And so you can actually create your task list. That is something separate. But what we're really focusing on is having the team days and prioritizing what you're going to get done on specific days to make time blocking easier. All right. So the next thing, let's say for example, because I am a morning person, and I did talk about this in a few I think one of my videos on the channel here where I talked about energy management is greater than time management, knowing when you're most energetic. Most people, when they're most energetic, they become more creative. So if you find that you are most creative in the night, schedule your day and do these time blocks in the night. If you're a day person like me and you can get work done in the day, time block in the day. Please do not be a night person and try to fit into a 5 a.m. schedule. You are going to be miserable. All right? You're going to be miserable. So make sure that when you're doing this time blocking, be real with yourself and sit with yourself for a minute and say, self, am I a night person or am I a morning person? And you will look at the trends of how you work, and you can literally tailor your calendar around how you work. One of the well, not one of the misconceptions, but one of the common mistakes I see a lot of us make, especially those who are creatives and we're an entrepreneurs or we have a lot of stuff going on, is that we let our calendar run us instead of we running our own calendar. We're supposed to be telling the calendar what we're going to do on the specific days and not the other way around. I know they used to say be booked and busy, but being booked and busy is also equal to burnout. And I can attest for that. So have your team days, okay? All right. So the next thing I'm going to do, when it comes to deep focus work, I'm a morning person, and because I usually get up at 3 a.m., I know not everybody's a 3 a.m. club. I usually get up about 3 a.m. and do devotion and all the things. So I would say in the morning between 3 to about 5 a.m. And again, if you have to put this on your calendar, put it. All right. So I would call this my personal time. I'm going to switch this out and put it on the personal block. All right. I'm going to hit more options. I'm going to say this is a daily. I say every weekday because I really want to manage it from Monday to Friday. All right. Saturday and Sunday we sleep in. So I don't wake up at that hour on the weekend. So notice once I put that in, automatically Monday to Friday, it's showing between 3 to 5 a.m. That's my personal time. And either I'm doing devotion, I'm spending time with God through prayer, I'm journaling, or I'm just having breakfast or just having, time. Whatever's your day actually starts. Now, I know that my deep work, let's say, for example, if I were to have morning focus, it would be between 6 a.m. and 7:30. So I'm going to switch this out and I'm going to call this daily planning. So every day I kind of check my schedule to see what I have to do, check my to-do list and all the things. Also, this is a repeatable something that happens every day, so I want that on there as well. Now, yes, you can get AI to do this for you, but like I said from the beginning, this is a foundational level. I take it a step back. So you can use this, and then over time, you can put AI on top of it to learn from you. All right. And then I know that I may need to do have a time for creative block. Now, I know based on my schedule, I may need uh Tuesday on this day, maybe between 12 a.m. sorry, 8 a.m. to 12. I want to focus on, we're in April, May, content planning, right? So I may want to do May content planning. And so this is going to be my creative block. Because remember, I say creative block would have to do with content creation or brainstorming, right? So I can schedule that time. All right, we have the same color. This is why we change out colors. So I'm going to put this in green. All right. And then let me see. And if you notice, I'm like scheduling things within that 12 p.m., between 8 to 12 p.m., because I know I'm a morning person. After 12 p.m., things don't work out the way it needs to work out with me. I am less creative in the afternoon. So most of my creative work I would generally do in the mornings. So if I'm to do another time block, say for example, maybe say, okay, maybe Monday and Tuesday were heavy days and I may just need the afternoon off on Wednesday. And I would say, well, okay, that can be my block of rest. So I'm going to actually take the half day off, right? And please don't feel guilty taking day offs. It is okay. If you're not good for yourself, you're not good for your clients, you're not good for the audience that you serve, you're not good for even your own self. So please do not feel guilty in taking days off. Okay? So I have that set up here. So this is basically how I would do time blocks. Now, what is important to note, the second strategy with time management is that you don't want to overload yourself with too much things. Yes, I may have an admin day on a Monday, but I prioritize just getting three major things done each day. So though I have time blocking times, let's say something is outside of the calendars that I set up, maybe I will have client follow-up sessions, right? So client follow-up sessions, I may just leave this as the overall business calendar. So I block off that time when I meet with clients, maybe for an hour or 30 minutes just to go over their projects. Now, please do not overwhelm yourself with trying to get too much done within a specific time. As a starting point, or try three major tasks per day. If you can do five, that's okay. But as a starting point, try to do three major things per day to knock out your list. I always say this: list all the things that you have to do a giant list, and take from that entire list three things that you're going to prioritize each day to get done, and focus your time on those three tasks. So let's say for example on the 21st, I may have three major tasks that I need to get completed. So yes, I have my overall admin day. I'm going to switch to day. All right, so I may have my admin day here, but let's say for example I want to add a task, And that task is to my first priority task. Just think right. Priority task one. I want it to start from 9 a.m. All right. Now it can be an event within here where I can literally put, okay, it's going to be from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Sorry, 9. Pull up. Let's say 9:30. Yes. So from, let's say, 9:30 to 10:30. All right. So this is the event that I have scheduled. This is a task that I need to get completed. So I'm going to switch this out. I'm going to say, um, this is going to actually be a maybe a deep focus, or I can leave it as the overall calendar color. I can either change it out just for highlights of color so we don't have contrasting, and I hit on save. Now, if this task is going to take me 1 hour, I am not going to schedule the next task at 10:30. I'm going to give myself time. So, if you're that person that needs to see that you need to take an hour break, please take the hour break. Okay? So, I'm going to do another event, and I'm actually going to call this lunch break, and I'm using shouty capitals to make sure that I actually take the break, and I'm putting it in big yellow. All right? So, I'm going to say my lunch break is going to be from 11:45 11:45 a.m. Are you switching to p.m.? So 11:45 a.m. and I'm going to I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm gonna say I can either do an hour, hour and a half, or 2 hours. Maybe within that lunch break, I eat lunch and I take a nap. Who knows? All right, but I'm scheduling that time. All right, and then maybe I know that as not a task that I need to get done may take me 30 minutes. So I will say, okay, I have another priority task. Priority task two needs to be done. Um, let's say when I come off of my break, I am going to start about 2:15. I'm giving myself time to get back into the flow of work. Yes, we come off of break. We might feel a little sluggish or whatever, and we need to get back into the game. Breathe, drink your water, stretch, all the things to get back into work. You can do so. All right. So I'm going to say, well, okay, priority task two. I'm going to follow the same color scheme. And then because I know my cutoff work time is at 5 p.m., I don't want to go over 5 p.m. I know that, okay, this is going to take me another hour to do. And maybe at the next task that I'm going to do is my priority. Come on. All right, my priority task three. That is going to run me from, let's say, 4 p.m. And that might be a 30-minute something, especially if it's something that is repeatable, or I would just let it run to 5 p.m. and little over. Now, one of the things I want you to remember, you can set this up, but if you go over time, that is okay. Remember, you're now creating a routine and a flow to work and time block. So you might underestimate or you might overestimate. So some tasks may take you 2 hours. You can estimate it will take you 2 hours, but in when you actually time yourself, it actually takes you maybe 30 minutes. And so you adjust accordingly as you go on each day. All right. All right. So make sure you follow the top three priority rule. The next thing is to focus on that one thing. If you have to cut out distractions, cut out the distractions and focus on getting that one thing done. All right. If you have to, again, if you have to set notifications, um, when it ends or before or during, do that if it's going to help you to stay accountable so that you can complete that specific task. Make sure you use the notifications. Now, at the end of the day, and I like to say this, at the end of the day will end. My day is definitely going to end at 5 p.m. in this case. All right. Now, before I close off, I am that type of person that needs to ensure that I fix my desk back up. I close off all the tabs. I am not going to move away from this computer if I have 10 tabs open and all the applications open. That is just overstimulating for me the very next day if I have to turn on the computer or resume working on the computer and see a whole set of things open. So I tend to close off everything, check off my to do list, make sure that I've completed what I could not complete in a day because, again, life happens. I don't feel guilty about it. I either push it to the next day if I have time open up, or I push it to another date, and that is okay. Again, you're learning new routines, and so be flexible and give yourself some grace. All right. So this is like how the time blocking per day looks, and then this is how the time blocking actually looks for the entire week. All right. Now I know that Sundays is going to be considered my sabbatical, and I'm going to say that this is an all day affair. Once you say something is all day, when is mean no non-working day, Sunday is a non-working day all day. Instead of it going from 12 a.m. to 12 midnight, it actually goes up at the top here. So anytime you see anything that is at the top here, you know that it's an all day event. And I will do the same for Saturday, right? Right. So this is an all day. I do not work on Saturday nor Sunday. Right. So I'm going to set this as my times. I know Saturday and Sunday is off limits. I am not working on those days. It has to be something of utmost importance that I would work on a Saturday. But other than that, or if I schedule that I'm going to batch record on a Saturday, that's the only time I'm working on a Saturday, and that's once out of every month. All right. So please make sure you treat your rest like it's a business meeting. All right. Make sure you treat it as like a business meeting. So, some of the common mistakes I've seen people make when it comes to time blocking and really getting into that flow of being productive and managing their time is that one, they overblock their day and leaving no room to breathe. I know that I need to have a lunch break every single day. If I don't take a break, it's not going to be very good. All right. And if possible, depending on how that day goes, I would either like literally schedule a nap session, say, take a nap. Just take a nap. All right. And I would literally put it into the calendar between 1 to 2, take a nap. Do I nap? Not all the time, but I'm putting it on my calendar because, again, I start my day very early. And so by time a certain time, I can get a little antsy. So I have learned to take um take time, like blocks of time when I just need to breathe, maybe stretch my legs, go outside, as they say, touch grass and all the things, right? So schedule breaks, don't overblock yourself. Time blocking is good, but we can creatives I know can overblock themselves and they want to be rigid with their calendar. Next thing, you can always, like I said, be flexible. And also, when you're scheduling your tasks, make sure it's at the time when you're most creative and energetic. I am not going to suggest to somebody who likes to work in the night to start their day at 5 a.m. I tried and I failed miserably. Right? So I know that they're night people, and so they no matter how much creative or productive tips I can give, they're just night people. All right. So that's a like fighting a losing battle. So if you're a night person, you find that you need to start your day later in the day, and that is most efficient for you, you create your schedule around that time. If you start your day at 12 p.m. and you run into the night, that is okay. Some of us need to be in bed by 9 p.m. and no shame about it, right? No shame about it. All right. So let me check in with those who are live. Let me know. how, if you're going to try time blocking on your calendar, is there any questions you need me to answer? And so before I wrap up tonight's session, all right, so the strategies that I shared tonight are these things: have team days. It is Mondays for planning, Tuesdays for content, Wednesday for client, Thursday is for business. However, you can work that. You sit down and outline that before you put it onto your calendar. The second time management strategy is to follow the top three priority rule. Try not to do 10 things in a given day. You are going to frustrate yourself. Let's be honest here. There's only so much you could do in a day. If you find, especially those who create content, you're recording, editing, and you have to publish, you find that doing those three things in one day takes up a lot of your time. Figure out a day you can create, you can record, a day you can edit, and a day you can sit down and schedule your content to be posted. This is why it's important to have that system in place. All right. The next thing is to um have your automation set. So if you have tasks that you repeat on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, set it up in your calendar as I showed you with the daily planning and personal time, how you can do this inside of Google Calendar. And it can be done throughout any other of the other calendars that are available. And also, protect your rest. Please ensure that you are resting and you are taking breaks. Do not overcrowd your calendar. One of the things, even with clients, when you have clients scheduling time with you, whether it's to book discovery calls or strategy calls, or even what they call these calls, project check-in calls or client follow-up calls, give yourself time between each meeting. Don't have meetings running back to back to back to back. You're going to get tired. Between every meeting, give yourself 30 minutes to breathe, stretch, drink some water. If it's every 30 minutes, 30 minutes between each meeting, an hour between each meeting, do so. All right. And so the other thing is to just have a routine to end off your day, whether it's to close off all your apps, to clean up your desk, to check off your to-do list that you got this done, that done, what you need to move to tomorrow or the following days. Just have an end of day routine. All right. So when you come into your next working day, you are able to have some amount of focus and you can literally start your day in order and not chaos. All right. So those are some of the things that has helped me in terms of staying consistent, and I'm heavy on time blocking, and I know that a lot of persons use Google Workspace and Google Calendar for their business, and so this is a good foundation for you to start with and build on. And again, your calendar don't have to be so expansive like my own. Even if you do time block for 2 days and those are your most intensive days, do the time blocking for those 2 days. Do not overwhelm yourself. Start with one day and then maybe you move on to 2 days and then 3 days and then you find yourself time blocking for the entire week. All right. So you're literally making space for what matters. So in this moment, I'm gonna give about a minute to see if any comments will come true. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. With regards to time blocking, you want to be intentional, and the reason why you're doing time blocking, have a goal as to why you're gonna start time blocking on your calendar? Is it for you to have structure in your day? Is it for you to get tasks completed? Know what the end goal is and set it up and be consistent. I know there are days when life will happen, and I get that. But still, at the same time, you have a system that holds you accountable. Let your calendar be that accountability partner if you don't have someone who can hold you accountable to executing. All right. So let me know in the comments if you're going to try time blocking. if I've shown you how to effectively use your Google Calendar. And Google Calendar is so, so deep. I did a full breakdown of how you can really use your Google Calendar to elevate your productivity. I'm going to link it in the description below. But in the meantime, between time, while the comments come through, if you want my exact systems that I use to either to plan, to organize, and to create content without the burnout, you need the templates, you need the flow system, and all the things. I have created the Creator Flow Kit. And the Creator Flow Kit not only gives you templates that are inside of Notion, but I also give you done for you emails that you can plug and play. You have your email and workflow templates, you have the productivity cheat sheet where you would, if you're now starting or you want to start building that productivity muscle as a creative as well as an entrepreneur, you want to come out of chaos, you can start with your cheat sheet. I also gave you the 3-step autopilot guide, and there's some additional bonuses that will be added into the kit that I'm currently working on. And so you're going to get that entire bundle. And for I have a special running. You can get the entire flow kit for just $7. Yes, I've said it, just $7. All right. So if you want that Creator Flow kit, you can click the link in the description for the kit, and you can get started in coming out of chaos and burnout and start the stepping stone of becoming productive, and also having a flow and a system in place for you to plan, organize, and create content without the chaos and without being burnt out. All right. So that is it for Create a Flow Live. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's live session. I appreciate each and every one of you. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'm here to answer your questions. And also, I just want to wish you a blessed week. And as always, it is time to create your flow. Have a good night, everyone.